I'm the only employee in this nonprofit organization. We have a board of directors of 8 people currently, I think. We also have volunteer shop managers that take care of like the wood shop or metal shop. But yeah, I'm the only employee. Our general membership is basically 2 different kind of tiers. We have an open hours managed access option for $50 a month, and then we have 24/7 access for $80 a month. Um, and then we have some student discount and veteran discount options that are, both of those at different rates. So we do have project storage that people can rent out that's separate from membership. So there's shelf spaces, rolling workbenches that people can rent to have like a mobile cart full of like the materials and tools, so they can bring those out to the wood shop or metal shop to work on things. And then we just have kind of like floor space that people can rent for bigger projects. Um, and then anyone that's not renting space like that, it's generally carry in, carry out. But we do have some shelves and stuff set aside so that if you have like a cutting board or something that you have stained that needs to sit overnight, you can set it on these shelves and that'll be good until then.
I would say probably any makerspace has to work through a series of issues in getting a place started and getting to the point of what most people would call successful. I think every space is a little bit different in terms of the people that use the space and what you're trying to offer and all of that, and it takes a while to kind of come around to understanding what that is and how to meet that, how to pair the two up. So for example, here we started in 2012 with a few particular disciplines that we wanted to focus on, like woodworking, metalworking, bike repair, electronics, things like that. And over time, and sort of serving the community, you get a little more focus on some than others, and maybe you expand depending on what people are looking for. And then I had the opportunity to go through the same process with a school nearby who was trying to build out their own creative space on their campus. And so taking some of that, the idea that you don't necessarily know right away what the final space is going to look like. You have to sort of ask some questions and try some things out and react and grow before you settle into something that's really serving all of the needs. That's a process, and so you sort of learn it and then you try to reapply it.
I mean, there's been some trip ups every now and then, and for the most part, it's our community is good about, like, when we get into those instances where like there's a big issue of like people band together and put their heads together and figure it out. Uh, I don't know. We've had a lot of fun with insurance in the past. I'd say that's one of our bigger issues, but just some weirdness, really, because we had to change insurers at one point because I don't even get it still, but we had something that was posted on our blog. Like we did or some of our members did a bike program in Gilmanton, New Hampshire. It was like showing kids how to fix bikes, and somehow they cited that as like, oh, you're showing kids how to use power tools, even though it was hand tools and bike repair. And they're like, yeah, we're not going to renew you this year. Just like, what? So that caused a bit of a scramble for a month or two to get reinsured.
So there were definitely challenges. In the beginning, funding, is one that probably most people encounter. And then in the beginning, you probably don't really know what your best assets are and how to use them most effectively. So, for example, here, compared to some makerspaces in urban areas, we have a lot of physical space, but we haven't necessarily made the best use of it over time. And, finding the balance of, space to use for workshop space versus space to rent out for project storage is, you got to figure out what that balance is so you don't give away all of your valuable real estate, and keep yourself from being able to use it, for whatever purpose is best in service to your membership. So, that's a big one. But sometimes you just have to try it and be willing to readjust as you get further down the road, because there's no manual for starting and running a makerspace.
We have an open hack night. It's kind of an electronics like open free time to come in and work every Friday night from 6 to 8 o'clock. People do a lot of interesting things then. Tinker with the 3D printers. We're going to be doing something with the laser cutter tonight. And that's usually a cool time if you want to like come and take stuff apart, because we have lots of scrap parts laying around. You can just kind of explore how things work. We have a lot of intro classes to help get people started in like woodworking and welding and soldering and 3D printing. They're open to the public. People can sign up online. We do have a discount for members, but for the most part, our classes are open for anyone to take. No experience required. When it comes to running a makerspace, like what the people that are kind of leading the space, what their backgrounds are. Like I'm curious to see where those people come from and why they get into this kind of thing. Like if they're motivated by community, or they just kind of like were interested in the concept of a makerspace without really knowing what they were going to get into, or like where that stuff comes from.